Everybody loves sleepers, unless you're the dude in the stock Lambo getting gapped by one. There's something so rad about an old sedan showing up at the drag strip and out of nowhere dusting everyone who comes up against them.
Don't you want to pick up a slow car and tune the heck out of it and start putting Porsches in their place? Well, good news. Today, we're honoring 10 cheap sleepers with unlimited tuning potential. Plus, the ugliest honorable mention around. And no, it's not Brad on rocket skates. And a top pick you'll never see coming. And we'll link them all to Auto Tempest down in the comments. I'm Trav, this is Idealist. Buckle up and let's go. And real quick, big thanks to today's sponsor, 70mi. The 70mi Omni dash cam will not only watch out for dangers on the road thanks to its new improved image sensor capable of shooting 60 frames a second at 1080p, but be your car's personal AI-powered security guard when left unattended. 70mi is an industry-leading auto intelligence company specializing in dash cams that's been in the biz since 2016. And the Omni is the industry's first 360-degree full-view dash cam. Beyond doing what you would expect a dash cam to do, its 140-degree field of view and 340-degree rotating swivel allows it to intelligently watch out for your vehicle when parked. Robberies, vandalism, or the innocent fender bender are all captured precisely and reliably by 70mi's AI. Smart motion detection triggers recording by analyzing actual behavior, not just presence, which helps reduce false positives, and when it detects suspicious behaviors, it activates a warning light and starts emergency recording towards that direction. That way, it can detect the difference between someone trying to fix their broken Land Rover and someone actually trying to steal your car. Now, all dash cams record accidents, but not all of them have the fidelity to reliably grab plate information if the guilty party decides to flee. This is especially true at night, where many dash cams fall apart. It's got best-in-class dynamic range and low-light performance. Lastly, there are a ton of built-in smart functions, like voice control, with which you can tell it to take a photo or record a clip to your left or take a selfie. And there's also built-in ADAS, which adds advanced functionality to your average car. Things like pedestrian and cyclist detection, lane departure, and forward traffic motion. Best of all, it's very affordable compared to market leaders. So click the link below and get yours today.
There's a reason you hear this
Dude, is this a Supra?
every time you see one.
And it's the same reason we made this sweet "Is That a Supra" t-shirt, which you can pick up right up here.
The Mark IV Supra is the holy grail of tuner cars, and the reason it's enshrined as a JDM legend is its engine. The turbocharged 2JZ, possibly the greatest tuner engine ever made. But a mint Mark IV Supra is a big ticket collector's item, and unless you have some serious scratch, you won't be buying one anytime soon.
But what if I told you there was another way you could harness the power of the 2JZ behind the wheel? Enter the Lexus IS300.
From 1998 to 2003, the IS300 ran a naturally aspirated version of the 2JZ, but otherwise it's still the same ultra-tunable JDM engine that's ready and willing to take as much power as you can throw at it.
And while you don't have the spaceship styling of the Supra, you will be getting a plush Lexus interior. Here's one with some mods ready to go for $8K. Now let's look at another, probably even less well-known JDM sleeper.
The Mazda Speed6 is pretty unassuming. It looks like an ultra-generic 2000s sedan, but the Mazda Speed6 has always been more than meets the eye. It's running a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline-4 under the hood that's good for over 270 ponies.
And thanks to That Racing Channel, we know the Mazda Speed6 can be pushed to 800 horsepower. That's an insane number, more than double the stock horsepower. Now, we're not saying it'll be cheap to do numbers like that on the dyno, but you can pick up a Mazda Speed6 for around $8 grand. And if you don't want a sedan, but still want to zoom in a Mazda, there's good news. You can pick up the Mazda Speed 3 hatchback with the same engine. So we've covered some JDM options. It's time to highlight some sleepers from the land of liberty.
You all know the classic Crown Vic Police Interceptor, and it's a fine foundation for a supercar slaying sleeper build.
But if you want to start with a little more power from the jump, look at the Crown Vic's slightly more refined brother, the Mercury Marauder.
This undercover muscle car packs a naturally aspirated Ford V8 that's good for 302 horsepower and 318 pound-feet of torque out of the box. Give it a tune and a supercharger, and you'll be embarrassing Hellcat owners at the drag strip. Almost.
We've found solid examples for sale for around $6,500. When you think American performance, you probably think naturally aspirated, big boat-like muscle cars, kind of like the Marauder we just listed, which is why the Dodge Neon SRT4, technically just the Dodge SRT4, is such a fun surprise. It's a speedy, front-wheel drive compact from the US of A.
This odd Dodge packs a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder made into a 5-speed manual, so you can pump that fun pedal and row through the gears yourself. With a little aftermarket magic, you can push this puppy to upwards of 300 horsepower on the stock turbo. And if that's not enough for you, you can also bolt on something a lot bigger and really pack a punch.
All that can be yours for around $6,000 to $7,000. And jump on this one soon, because with a limited production run, it's getting harder and harder to find a clean example. And guess what? This list features not just one American front drive compact, but two. The Chevy Cobalt SS is a front drive champion. The Cobalt SS's Ecotec engine holds the record for fastest 4-cylinder at the drag strip and achieved 230 miles an hour down the quarter strip.
So you know the sky is the limit on this thing when it comes to tuning, so why not pick one up and tune to that target of 230 miles an hour? Once you start gapping Bugattis, Paganis, and Koenigsegg's, it'll all be worth it.
Oh, and did I mention a Cobalt SS will only set you back about $5,000? Now, if you want to spend $5,000, but you gotta have a JDM car, Nissan is no slouch when it comes to performance. This is the company that made Godzilla, after all, and generation after generation of the Z. But one of the best performance values they offer is a Sentra?
Say what?
That's right, the SER and SER Spec V were Nissan's autocross-ready, enthusiast-approved Sentras from 2000 to 2005. The SER Spec V came packing a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, which is good for 175 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 6-speed manual along with a limited-slip diff for its front-wheel drive.
Not bad for a 20-year-old compact, all things considered. And these things can be found right around $5,000. An ECU swap here, a bolted-on turbo there, and you'll be pulling out on Civic SIs in no time. Okay, enough front-drive compacts. Let's get back to some proper right-wheel drive picks. And there's nothing that feels quite as right as our next pick.
Even though they're sporty, fun-to-drive little convertibles, the Mazda Miata has always come light on power from the factory, with first-gen Miatas barely pushing over 100 ponies.
Which is why the Miata might be the best example of the old adage. It's more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. But you know what's more fun than driving a slow car fast? Driving a fast car fast! With a ton of aftermarket support for every generation, it's easy to take an NA, NB, or NC Miata and turn that thing into a proper weapon. Boost, tune, and spoiler alert, aero! Once you get started adding ponies to the Miata, you'll never want to stop. And if you get tired of tuning, there are pre-made engine swap kits available to make it super easy to drop a ton more horsepower into your sweet little Miata. And while prices have started to creep up, you can still find great models for under $6,000. Okay, so you know we can't do a tuner or sleeper list without mentioning Honda. Now, sure, you could pick up a V6 Accord and absolutely clap it out. It's a classic tuner move. But if you really want a proper sleeper that no one will see coming, pick up an Acura TL.
You can find one with a manual transmission for around $8,000. It's still got the same V6 you'll find in an Accord with the same VTEC yeehaw, but all in a much more refined package.
It's totally daily drivable, and a supercharger will have you putting sports cars in your rear view in no time. Or go full turbo and dust everyone at the drag strip. With a little tuner tweaking under the hood and a few go-fast parts, you'll see why some call the Acura TL the Japanese M3. I don't think I'll personally go that far. Seems like maybe the IS or... Speaking of BMW, now we've said it before that the BMW 335i is one of the best performance bargains on the market.
The 335i is a fast car even in stock form. The twin-turbo straight 6 can take you from 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds straight out of the box. And the N54 engine has proven to respond well to tuning, with tunes alone resulting in gains of 70 horsepower. With just a little money and some know-how, you can get this thing to go faster than a stock E90 M3.
Now, we've also covered why you have to be careful with the 335. It's not known to be the most reliable BMW ever. If you push the stock turbos too hard, and it'll ruin your day. So just remember to boost and tune responsibly. Now, this car isn't gonna be as cheap as the others on this list, but you can still find one for under 10 grand. That said, the best picks will be around the $15,000 range. Now, if you're a fan of big burnouts and big engines, this honorable mention is for you. Is it a sleeper? Well, it's a Camaro, so nobody's expecting it to be slow, but nobody's expecting it to smoke Lambos at the track either. With the Catfish Camaro, you could do just that. The infamous body styling has kept these things cheap basically since the day they were new.
But the later 4th gen Camaros share the same LS V8 engines as the C5 Corvette, and with all the aftermarket support LS engines get, there really is unlimited potential. Seriously, if you're looking for the cheapest supercar slayer money can buy, this is your best bet.
You can pick one up for 7 grand, which hopefully leaves you plenty of extra cash to make that thing go extra fast. Now it's time for the top pick of cheap sleepers. And if you're thinking the top spot is a Subaru, well, you'd be right. But it's probably not the Subaru you're thinking of.
The original Forester XT is just a Subaru WRX STI in disguise. They both run on the same platform. They both can be found with the same turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-banger.
In fact, in this era, the Forester was so similar to the WRX STI, they straight up released a Forester STI in Japan. And since the Forester XT's internals are the same as the Impreza WRX STIs, all that big boost in aftermarket support is available to turn your Forester into the ultimate JDM sleeper. If you want a sleeper that can double as your daily driver, this is the car you pick up. And it's a Subaru, so you can do all your typical Subaru things in it.
Do you vape or do you not vape? Was this answer your question? He's a vapor, that a boy.
And if you really want to channel your inner New Englander, you can pick up the wicked LL Bean edition, and you'll be parking the car in the Harvard yard in no time. The Forester XT can be found for a hair under 10 grand, but with the Ideal Car Strategies, you can get that number even lower. Check out how right up here. So there you have it. 10 cheap sleepers that can be tuned to be supercar slayers. Any other picks you'd have thrown in the mix here? Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, if you're thinking about tuning, turbos, what have you, check out which turbocharged engines to avoid right here. Or go watch whatever YouTube recommends right over here. I'm Trav, this is Ideal, and I'll see you all very soon.